Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We're gonna do more Phoenix Wright today. I've been reading a really silly comic called called Dochokyu Kaishi X Kanojo, and it is hilarious. It's super funny and heartwarming and really amusing. So if you like that kind of thing, I would recommend it. Now, any hoodles? We're back with the sweet ass music. It's also like weirdly warm in my room right now, so I'm gonna ditch the fuzzy robe for a little bit. I've also just finished my second dinner. I don't know if this happens to everyone. I assume it does, like every now and then, where like even though you've already eaten, you just like get super hungry and want more. And yeah, so I had like 10 chicken nuggets for dinner originally. Then I had an ice cream with a little Snickers bar. And that was good. And then like an hour later, I was like, I need more food. So I made 5 more nuggets, and that's what I just ate, which is why I'm a little bit late. Now, any hoodles? Let's get going. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, that we had a mountain of evidence someone at you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? Can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Wait, what do you mean Pearl's situation? Just like that she's currently, you know, being Mia? It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya. She's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer dude? Who was that? No one. Has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Pinocchio, right? Where's the prosecutor? Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ungard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor! Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. You must tell me something. Please keep it brief. What is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. My adorable Von Karma has been shot? What? Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. It's present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good. Phew. You're... Thought he'd show up. Wait, he's in the witness stand, though. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Franciska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. The music is so triumphant. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, had to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Alright, the bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first glance, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Oh? After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Were they alone though, or was the lady with them? All right, let's save. Okay. Let's try to press on everything, I think, for now. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m. Ended around 8. Then there was a short break. Special post-ceremony show is supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, Detective. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Engard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Oh, so she's a pretty lady. Wonder if she'll grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Engard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see. And that's when she found the victim's body. Makes sense. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. The cause of death? Wasn't that because Mr. Carita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Oh? Take a good hard look at the crime scene. Crime photo. Now, real attention will be drawn here, to this bandana. Oh, was he strangled? Banana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. Then what about the knife? Seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. That sounds a lot like someone who's like angry with the person. Like, isn't that a thing? How they determine like if like a murderer knows someone or not is like how intensely they like assault the body afterwards or during. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. We couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory, then. Empty, there's some water, but only on top of the lid. Bears Karita's fingerprints. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Tell me more about that. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Karita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitars in the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was out on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. That guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. What if a team of clowns hid inside the case and jumped out and attacked him? I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why, then, did the police arrest Matt and Guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe. Please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest and guard? Let's save again. Matt and Guard and Juan Karita were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way, and that's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume was found in Mr. and Guard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. I don't know about that last bit. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Grip Gatewater is engaged. Well, then he didn't buy it. It's from the hotel. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? Is this button also covered in blood? Yes. We know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Well, that's a bit more convincing, I think, for people. All this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. You ready to give in yet, Wright? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. I arrest and guard. I am mildly curious, though. Like, I know prosecutors and defense attorneys are like two sides of the same coin. Basically, do they ever swap in like real life, or do people generally like stay as prosecutors the entire time? Also, hello, Dowkind. Oh, thanks for subscribing. Happy Monday. How's your day been so far? let's get pressing. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Engard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know it's ironic, pal? Juan Corrida was always one step behind Mr. Engard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end. That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. They stay as one? Okay. So, makes you wonder, like, do prosecutors actually get, like, bonuses if they win cases? Like, do attorneys and prosecutors get bonuses? I'm really curious about this. There's a Cora answer. Damn it, I can't actually read it because it wants me to read a full, wants me to sign up. I'm trying to find, like, an example. There's a lot of stuff that says, like, conviction bonuses and stuff. And there's a lot of people saying this is an awful policy that reinforces bad incentives that are already commonly found in law enforcement. Interesting. Alright, anyway, let me keep going with the case. They each thought the other guy was in his way. Alright. I'm gonna squeeze out as much info as I can out of Dick. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Engard was beating Mr. Corrida in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Look at Wright making good points. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not... Well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Milk? Are you curious what the milk game is? Is that why you're doing that? Here, let me... This is the milk game. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edwards, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No! Now, detective. Let's continue with the testimony. No, not my poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. I recently found out that I have a pension. Fun fact. Like, I had no idea that, like, there was money going from my paycheck into a pension fund. I thought I just had a 401k. But, yeah. I found out because they're getting rid of all the pensions at the company. And so you had to choose, like, what to do with the money. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Excuse me. As for evidence, there's a Jammin' Ninjas button. It's ripped off the ninja costume. Oh, whoa, we need to press on everything. I have no idea. I don't even know what a super moderator is. Is it just something like within Nightbot? Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Jammin' Ninja's costume. But can't you just tell by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. Oh yeah, no, I don't have stream elements. I have Nightbot. Occasionally, I think. I don't remember. I think it's enabled right now. Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this in. Red. The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. Ugh. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. This ripped-off ninja costume was found in Mr. Engard's Hakama. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Kurita. And then we did a search on them all. That's where we found the button. So it's almost immediately after the murder. The police didn't have free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what's he trying to say about me here? What a punk. Hold on. Where is the... Sorry, I have the Nightbot thing open because since you had it link in and whatnot. There we go, add command. Milk. There. Okay, milk should now work as a command, assuming that Nightbot updates like instantaneously. The defendant's fingerprints are also all over the knife. How are the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprint, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. Can't believe the bumbly in this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So was the defendant the owner of this knife, then? The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. See, that's not true. There's no way in hell that's true. It's a hotel knife. Also, is it the knife part of the evidence? Yeah, it says Gatewater on it. So we'll probably present that, but I'm gonna press first. There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if you bought the knife. Sorry, pal. This is a pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Well, this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix. Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully, before it's too late. Button covered in victim's blood, and a knife with Engard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? See, I think it's this that we have to get rid of. So let's see, suicide, the murder, premeditated murder, huh? Why is there just juice here? Like, the tomato juice being completely untouched is really weird. I don't think that's important yet, but it says Gatewater though, as in the Gatewater Hotel, right? Do we have anything that talks about the Gatewater Hotel? Confess to something after the show. Not this. I want to present this because it says Gatewater on it. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Eh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Eh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? Think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. A strangling murder of passion? Yes, that's very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that's dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't know. Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from? Well, why, that's obvious. Came from the victim, Mr. Creda's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that's incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I'd like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Madengard. Oh, there's a knife missing. Especially what was on top of his table. But there were 2 plates. 2! There's something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dish for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Madengard's knife was missing. Ugh. Mr. Engard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on the visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. How did he just leave another person in that room? Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. Must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints, and a button from the victim's costume. Let's save. I'm feeling we're gonna have to like make one of those fancy things. Or we object happen. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. We know. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix? The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we enter with something wrong here, that gallows will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. New evidence, huh? Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court? Juice? Deceased Celeste impacts found by Juan Carrito. Adrian Andrews. Attempted suicide report. Strangled with a scarf. New evidence. Water and lead. Bears Carrito's fingerprints. Guitar case. Sorry, which one is which again? Carrita is the defendant? No, Carrita's the dead guy. Right? Well, there's this, that Nickel Samurai's to confess to something. That seems maybe useful. Yeah, so Juan Carrito died. So where are these people? Okay, this is the victim. He's the Nickel Samurai, he's the Jammin' Ninja. I mean, Carrita's fingerprints being on the guitar case doesn't matter at all. This is really weird that there's tomato juice that wasn't drank, but I don't think it's relevant yet. The Nickel Samurai has something to confess. Met and guard. Maybe that shows that it's a setup? I do, because if I don't, then there's no way I have anything else going on. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something this court had yet to see. Mr. Wright, I'll say this one more time. I feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, Wright? Just don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up as curtains for all of us. You may now present one, and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? I feel kind of good about this one. Juan Carrito's been getting close with AA. AA being in guards manager. Oh, maybe that's the evidence I need to present. Because if I show that he's getting close to her, then there's a connection there. And like maybe like the motive becomes a little unclear. Let's try that. No, I don't think so. Sorry, right? But this time your bluffing steered you wrong. I can see nothing strange about this. Oh god, look, it's gonna kill me. It's flashing red. Okay. Okay then, my bad. I guess I'll go with the confession then. The press conference ticket. Nope. Oh god. Okay, someone's lighting fireworks off outside. So apologies if you hear like the snappy boom boom noises. Those are the two pieces of evidence that like seemed relevant to me. Something that this court has yet to see. What's something that the court has yet to see? Lotta's camera. Stolen on the night of the murder. Tabloid article about the victim was in the case. Lotta's camera was stolen. Let's see. Their rooms are this close. I don't think there's anything strange about that. There's water on the case. No sign that that's been drunk. The case was open. I mean, there was definitely a struggle here, but what's up with this? Maybe... Well, no, that doesn't make any sense. I was about to say, like, maybe we can try to prove that he wasn't killed in this room because, like, these things weren't knocked over or something like that. Is Juan, like, a complete anti-vegetarian? Like, is there any reason why that would be this? Suicide report. Solis impacts found by Juan Carrito, who may have hid her note. Adrian Anna's attempted suicide. In the scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Why would you stab someone who is already dead? I presented these two so far, right? So the nickel samurai. There's nothing special about that. I used the wine glass. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. Okay, so it is weird. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase is broken. His makeup is all over the floor. There were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Oh, well, yes. It's a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth, what is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion. Because there's no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. Really? That's an interesting theory. And she could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? No. No, because she might have been seeing him on the side. She would have dropped it. 5 p.m. Where could the trial's over? Look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct point with certainty. They just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. Turn the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? Oh, he's got the music going. You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kurita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenarios. It explains everything all too well. Thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I'll show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has proved enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness who would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Oh no. It's her. It's Wendy. Oldbags. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Also, I want to find out, does it work now? Yes, it does. Cool. I just wanted to make sure that the milk command works. What a silly thing. Anyway, now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation.
Gotcha.
I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier.
Oh, edgy boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet was the wicked witch of the witness stand?
I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know.
Yes, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt him, Scramp!
Yes, ma'am. No, please, by all means interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
Well, it was a great job, being one to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone's crazy over that Engard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, no interest in a little child like him. Only interest in a real man, Juan Carita.
But those two were the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know? Oh, since I was on the job, made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. There was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Engard. Mad Engard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
Interesting. So Mr. Engard came out from the victim's room.
See? It has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
I think, like, I think I get what Edgeworth is doing. Like, he wants to, like, lock down his case so securely that there's no way for, like anyone to question his prosecuting skills, I guess. But he's giving us, like, more ammo, right? Where we would have been just, like, kicked out before. So this is good. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway. Let's press.
Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that Trexan show. But I refused to help. Well, you know, it was for that lead-headed samurai show. Even took out a few of the nails.
I think it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spend my goods a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door?
Okay, so there was a period of time where she wasn't in front of the gun, right?
Something you were interested in, and just what was that?
That's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Edgy Poo, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what's this thing she was really interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor.
Gossip?
But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to our testimony later. Looks like we should enforce it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Since I was on the job, made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time.
So she wasn't there the whole time, right? Oh, then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Carita's room?
I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct?
That's when someone showed up. Man coming out of poor Juan's room.
Who in the world was that?
Not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room. It was... He was...
Yes, he was.
I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Franciska's whip right about now.
Well, I guess I could tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. It was Engard. Mad Engard. He's trying to sneak his way out of Hobbsworth. Yeah.
You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yes, see.
Really?
Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's face, what the person was carrying, the person's clothes. Let's find out if she saw the face. Please tell the court about the man's face in more details.
You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. His right eye covered by his silky hair. His sparkling, shiny teeth.
His teeth were... shiny?
Well, he's shiny all around in this week's pinup poster, dearie.
This week's pinup? Why do you...
I mean, I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw last night. That night, sorry. What? Engard's face is the same no matter where it is. You know, you whippersnapper. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? That she saw his face? No, but his clothes might be. Mr. Wright, do you know why we say time is valuable? If not, I suggest you learn. Wasted 3 minutes of this woman's youth. That's more valuable than gold to me. Why do I suddenly feel old in the presence of her childish whining? She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. Really bad. But that's how the human mind is. Also, it's the tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. Okay. I think the clothes is important, because the, what if he's not wearing the Hakama pants? I want to know about the clothes. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now, what was it? Oh, yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. He's wearing that at the detention center, too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant anyway? Yes. Wait, sorry. I keep getting them mixed up. Which one was murdered? The Jammin' Samurai was murdered, right? The Jammin' Samurai was murdered. And Guard is the Nickel Samurai. So, if this button is found in his Hakama, then yeah. It was very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright, witness please. Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He's wearing his flashy racing jacket. Well, see, it's all just for show. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Oh, the music stopped. Miss Oldbag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Ugh, it's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here! Give it here! Don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this! Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Engard's body during a full body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Engard. It was caught up in the pleats of his Nickel Samurai Hakama pants. See? See? And Engard is the Nickel Samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Engard, is wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you think I was the most gorgeous woman, but instead I had to put up this ridiculous looking outfit. You'd agree this outfit's hideous, right? I've got a tape recorder stuck in my chest. Let me tell you, it's heavy. So heavy I wish we would have switched to CDs ago, but I'll keep you my dream alive for all those kids out there. Worked hard with a smiling face, understand? Now take a look at the mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as a documentary on curling. You stick a tiptoe from Edgeblue. Now he's got style. I got most of that. Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engard, the man, but Mr. Engard, the Nickel Samurai? Adrian. But when you think about it, they really wanted the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Yeah, G-Poo, do you think so too?
Well, might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Alright, if you insist.
Should be the one to sign, not you. Alright, save again.
This is good though.
I like that you had to like tease out the little bit of the testimony for you to contradict. With like the 3 options up to choose from and everything. It was a little bit more engaging than before.
In guard. Now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. I guess it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. To go to that post-ceremony stage show right at the crime, you know? So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.
Then why did he come out of the room without it? I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Young'uns today, I told you, there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know?
Because I said so, and what I say is the truth.
At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. I'm supposed to cross-examine this? Like, we just proved she was lying. Would you please get on with your testimony?
What's your language, young man?
What sort of tone is that to take with an elder?
My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you want barking at me like that, I'll start singing the top of my lungs.
What?
A striking figure by the sea, standing all alone is he.
She's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and stick to just the facts.
Okay. You promise, right?
Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth. Old chum.
The Nickel Samurai. That's right, it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw.
Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not?
Not too long ago. Well, let me ask you this. When were you itty-bitty? What was your grand dream?
Huh?
What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper?
My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be a Judge Wagner. Or wanted to be Judge Wagner here at the public court, so what?
See? Now look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you?
Well...
What I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. You can't be held responsible for the past.
Since when did the court become theatrics over testimonies?
All that matters is that man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough?
Achievement unlocked, Judge Wagner. I just got an achievement for that. Press Oldbag's claim that it was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. 18.3% of players had this achievement. Weird. One is weird that there's an achievement for that, and 2, it's weird that like not everyone presses her about literally everything. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. I don't think it would have been. And why would that be?
That way no one can see his face, of course.
But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more.
You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say.
Isn't that what you're always doing to me?
I got it. It was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know?
Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show?
No. Well, the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing.
And that includes the Jammin' Ninja?
Of course it included him. That's why when Guard came out of Dear Juan's room. I'm gonna give it a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. So let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the nickel samurai? As showy as ever. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? I throw in the towel yet. You don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in her testimony at sea in plain sight. There is. I mean, besides the fact that she's lying. The question is what that contradiction means for us. I figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. Okay, hold on. The nickel samurai was there. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor— oh! I was gonna say the stabbing part, maybe, because he was strangled and then stabbed. That's the only contradiction I see, like, right offhand. So I'm gonna go with that. But it's not it. I just saved, right? So, and guard. The nickel samurai. It was the nickel samurai that I saw. But could she have seen the nickel samurai? Is there anything that tells us that she wouldn't be able to see it? Article from the tabloid. Stolen on the night of the murder. No. The nickel samurai is going to confess something after the post of honored ceremony. I mean, the nickel samurai doesn't wear a flashy jacket, but she's already like amended her testimony a million times around that, so that doesn't seem like something we could do. There's the victim's fingerprints. There's nothing in the crime scene that— it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Would it have been though? Like, that doesn't seem right to me. Like, I get the covering your face thing, but why else would it be convenient? Wouldn't he like not have an arm if he did that? Or like— wait, no, he would be wearing gloves if that's the case, right? No, it's not contradicting. What am I missing? Was it something within the pressing? My youthfulness is what you should forgive me. He's singing, gum, not the first thing. The racing jacket. And then she asks us about the judge. If there's an achievement there, then that probably doesn't mean that's actually related to winning. It would have been convenient for him to wear it. No. No one could see his face. But she said she saw him, right? It was more troublesome to change it in and out of that. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage. Everyone was supposed to be there. must have worn the samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Am I stupid? Like, am I as dumb as Gumshoe? That I'm not seeing this supposed, like, obvious thing? Here's the Nico Samurai Sara and guard. I mean, you were just saying guard, though. No musical pause. So it's not that. So there's no like additional testimony to be had from just pressing. She says it was the Nico Samurai. Wear his costume during the murder. $8.15. I wonder if I need to press for more evidence before it all. Empty. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. Wait, he didn't know about it, right? He didn't know about that. I don't have anything that says that though, do I? But this though, like, I remember him saying he didn't know anything about that. So you can't show that with the ticket. I don't. I don't think I have a piece of evidence that shows that he didn't know that. He must have worn that Nico Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. If he did, there'd be blood all over it, though. Like, that seems pretty stupid to me. I mean, so we can't contradict her about the fact that, like, the stabbing came after. Right after the crime. So he must have worn that Nico Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. This seems like the right area, but why? Well, he couldn't hold a knife with that, right? Is that something we can, like, show? That, like, it's not convenient? No? He had to go to the post-ceremony show right after the crime. At 8:15. I mean, he didn't have to go right after if there was 15 minutes. Apparently these are too nitpicky. He must have worn the Nico Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I don't have a picture, do I? Lotto's camera of what he was wearing. No. This is hard. Leah's Field the CD wrote out tabloids. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. Here's the nickel samurai that I saw. Engard. Now I remember. Well, of course she remembers him. She like loves the dude. Right? Oh no, never mind. She likes Juan. So like she barely even knows what he looks like? Is that what that is supposed to be saying? I don't know. Why? Must have won that. There's a contradiction in her testimony and sitting in plain sight. What does the contradiction mean? It was the nickel samurai that I saw. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. And he had to go to that post-samurai stage show right at the crime. So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. What would it mean? So this is true, right? Because everyone was going to go there as a show of support. So that's true. But why would any killer wear something that would get blood on it? It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. But you would have gotten blood and everything all over it. Or like had it ripped. Like that doesn't seem convenient at all. Vanguard, now I remember. He must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I mean, he wears gloves, right? Like, he's got gloves on, he's got that weird thing on. So, like, he wouldn't have any fingerprints, right? And we have his fingerprints here. Is that it? Is it the fingerprints? Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. Engard was really in the nickel samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife.
Naturally, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. Strangled first, then stabbed. Well, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there's only one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant had no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I've heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? Yeah? Yes? This theory contradicts something in an early testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. Because of the knife? Or the knife, right? Do we have a badge thingy? Impossible to have gone without any intent. Is it the gossip? Reliable source. No, it's gotta be the knife. I mean, that's literally the only thing that makes sense. This knife. This was used by Mr. Engard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intention to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. Fancy words like supposition. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing his costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant fingerprint shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Aha! Order. Order, I say. Order in the court! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame them. It's to frame my client, Mr. Engard, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness! Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Engard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. Feeling that you're waiting for Mr. Juan Kurita. Am I correct, witness? What do you think? You're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. Do we have to guess who she was waiting around for? But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Oh, she was waiting for the lady because of the gossip. Hey, maybe Oldbag was waiting around for that person.
So I think me is hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag, you were waiting for this person to come to the victim's room, weren't you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Unguard's manager. But why would the defendant manager be? Why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this latest rumor is in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is. Well, this is. I see. The judge seems to be really into the article from called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. You can throw away this whole sword to confidentiality stuff then. Witness? What in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. Got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons, all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. It's gonna take the wind out of you young'uns. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really? Not like we're 10 years old. That Engard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. Cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, well, this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know it yet, okay? The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court. What? Nobody's above gossip. Isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact a baseless gossip. But should this be true? This proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right. Engard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, gotta burn old bags with fire. Is that a saying? You gotta burn old bags with fire. No. I don't see anything popping up. Time to fire up the afterburners, hit the highway to the danger zone. Highway to the danger zone. Alright. Save. I'm pretty sure we know who our source is. Lotta. You can't say something like that without proof. That's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting intimate with poor Juan. Look, it says so right here, doesn't it? Manager of the Stars, Miss AA. But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossipland. What? You saying that gossip is just a pack of lies? What do you know? So next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. Anyway, and God will never get me to say touche. Thought I could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. Why would he want to do that? A scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? Can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle schools these days? No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means, even I know that much. Well, then Engard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I think she had her own reasons for this. You don't have any proof that Mr. Engard did any such thing. You must be suffering from shock. Shock of hearing the truth. And now since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right. Can't do anything, but boy, do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you got. Can you show me proof that Engard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? Engard didn't bear any will towards Juan. That he doesn't feel bad about him. Confession. Lotta's camera was stolen. Did Lotta get a picture of the manager leaving the room at all? Like, because that would be a thing, right? I don't know if she said she got a picture out though. Suicide report from the manager with the note. The attempted suicide, I think, was shocked by or talked down by Juan, maybe. I kind of want to dig on the camera a bit. I have evidence. Well, let's see how this works out. Not gonna let you push me around that easily. Maybe a man who said those exact words and paid dearly for them. Well, maybe you should brace yourself this time. Here's my proof that Mr. Engard did not hold any ill will towards the victim. He stole Lotta's camera? Maybe? Is that it? You can't take it from me or Edgy Poo. What are you handing it over to me for? You can give that jagged-headed baboon boy a message for me, please. Don't let no matter what he does, the only thing he's good at is failing. What she said, right? Or should I say, baboon boy? So I agree this isn't much of a piece of evidence, baboon boy. I just get a new nickname here. Hey, you're lecturing me about saying things without proof. Just give me a free pass to say whatever I want, whenever I want, silly boy. In my big mouth. That's the way the cookie crumbles for you, anyway. Man, I thought... I thought I had something there. Okay, so maybe it's not that. Lotta's camera, like that might tie her to Oldbag, maybe? Like she heard this stuff from it. This doesn't do anything. The guitar case in his room. Was on bad terms with Engard. Was he really though? I mean, he would. Why would he leave his case in there if they were on bad terms though? I'm gonna try this one more time with the case, and then I'll decline afterwards. I'll just keep pressing. Nope, never mind, we're a baboon. Okay. Fine. Fine, we're baboons, okay? I don't have anything. I don't have anything to offer. See, just as I thought. You're lecturing me about saying things without proof. Alright. Cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. So, what do you mean by I took action? Like I told you, I was lying in wait close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I capture her and teach her a good lesson. Something you young'uns need. You're going to teach her a good lesson? I was gonna make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this! Oh, stop! Well, it's too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. Oh, well, this is top secret you got. Nobody else but you and me know that yet. Really? Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yeah, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole in my brain, you'll never find out. How in that world did an old bag get such a secret piece of information?
Let's press further. If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got the secret information, you won't get to go home today.
Yeah. Edgy-poo, what are you doing? Help me.
What do I have to do? What do I have to do with this?
Just do this for me, you'll get your reward.
I don't want your reward. You leave me no choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's impossible to spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless babbling. As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. Where did Oldbag get her inside information? Must be something I can use to figure it out. Sometimes I just know that tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. Makes your client look bad either way. I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary right now. Must be something we can catch her on. Yeah, when I find it, I'm gonna press the heck out of it. Alright, hold on. I think that's it. So I'm gonna use the camera now. Or press, and then present. If that's true, then why do you know Miss Oldbag? Oh, look at this. What's that? Witness? I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? From Lotta Hart. The investigative photographer Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless?
Ah, that's it. That's the note.
No, you see, this is something completely different. With my top secret list of groceries to buy.
Then you were the one who took Miss Hart's note.
I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil one guard. She said so herself. And guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy-poo, you believe me, don't you? Ugh. I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. That is so good. That is amazing. Edgeworth with the zingers. That was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No. No. We can get more, I bet. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. To find somebody to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility on scrutiny again?
Miss Oldbag. I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Lotta's camera was stolen. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? Camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie 1600 camera disappeared on me." What? Why, witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too. So you found me out again, Sonny.
Is this the camera you're looking for?
That's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I eat meals like you, and I fall in love and borrow things from people too.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
Well, I saw that women's business card, and that's what I noticed. It said, "Slime bag celebrity photographer extraordinaire." Well, when I saw that, I didn't know what sort of pictures she had taken. Professional security guards, my business to know these things.
I bet you that, like, if there is a picture from that, it's going to be important. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once. Cool. Recess time? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant in this case. Please present it to the court. Ah, there it is. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you. That's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. He's still wearing gloves, though. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant, however. In his own confession, Mr. Engard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is. Is he coming from, whose room is he coming from? The one on the left, right? What's the one with all the flowers? The defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. There's got to be something in that picture. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? Is it in the court record? Well, the flowers, I don't really remember. It's got the gloves on. His pants are really baggy. Are they supposed to be that baggy? No. So maybe this person's too short. If I raise an objection here and blow it, then I make the guy's life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one route out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming right. Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, to find something wrong with this photo. Can't let this chance go by. Where the heck does she take this from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? I'm going with the fact that, like, these are all baggy and shit. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And? What does that mean? The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area on the bottom of the hakama. Yeah. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright. Gotta turn things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself. So he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? The person in this photo is not Matt Engard. Then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. Figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Engard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Adrian. Right? Like, literally, who else could it be? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. Maybe you should be focused on his... Maybe you should be focused on Edgeworth... What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who's the person in this photograph? Adrian. Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than this the woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engard that night. And how's that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Engard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? Do this now. My last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Edgeworth probably knows about the suicide, and that's why he thinks it's not her, because she's indebted to him. Looks like this trial is his most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day. Ugh. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, shall we set Mr. Andrews' testimony for tomorrow? We raise an objection and then prove it's her without hearing her out at all? Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. You cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not... I have horror wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. I think Edgeworth is in on this. Like, I think he's also in contact with the horrible person. Either that, or like, someone told him or something. We cannot continue to do this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan. Even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She's the next witness. Didn't see that coming. Maybe she's the president, he said. Or maybe Edgeworth is the president. I mean, damn. Everything. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle's far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. Bum, 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 bum. I need more liquids. Because I am out. It's a new flavor this time. It's still that Nixie stuff that I was drinking, you know, for like the past like week and a half or so. But this time it's peach black tea flavor, which is pretty good. And apparently it has 30 milligrams of caffeine in it. Didn't know that until just right now. Maybe I shouldn't be drinking this late. Yeah. I'm gonna keep going with the rest of the trial, but I need to go get some more liquid, so I will be right back. Sorry about that. I said I'd be right back, but I also took the moment to get myself... Had a quick bio break. Spicy. Dude! Can't believe that Adrian... No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She is your manager. Been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person with access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. And hotel staff. Oh geez, this camera's like way down, huh? I don't know if the arm is giving me such trouble recently. Like, I'm afraid to move this thing up because it's like not as sturdy as it should be. So enjoy the music while I adjust this thing's stand. Okay, there we go. That's too high now, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's too high. There. That's fine, right? So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have easily planted that blood-covered button in your Hakama. Yeah, but where did she get the extra outfit? Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes. She's the real killer. She's the one who murdered Juan Garita. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Own agenda? What are you talking about? Sure, you'll see by the time this trial's over. Be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of the day. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yeah. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impacts only killed herself. Sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Garita, the victim of this murder. That's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Garita, all to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? There stated Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regard to Miss Impacts. Edgeworth. Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Garita's room. She has that fancy card. It feels really weird to have to look up at you all, but I suppose it makes it easier to point at you when I object for stuff. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Madengard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? Sure, everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine. Oh, no, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. I wonder if that ever happens. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Garita. I was also aware of the rivalry that exists between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter. What's that, bait and fry? I said fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. When I found the body. It's time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. It was not time for the show to start. They had 15 minutes. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. But as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Okay, so that goes against what Edgeworth thought earlier. Like, oh, I'm gonna faint. Or she put it down, like, when she was there. Also, that's not true. You poured yourself a glass of juice. Hold up. 1, it's filled with juice. 2, this bottle is full, isn't it? Yeah, sadly. I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Oh, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who's easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial's over, understand? So press like the devil. Got it. And what was Mr. Engard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini-performance as the Nico Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Engard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, correct? Excuse me? It? What are you... Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. Can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Engard's knife from his room? No. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. After that, I went to Juan's room. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture. Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? We're supposed to be aggressive, so let's press further. Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? Sorry, but I didn't have any intentions in mind at that time. Can't get a talk with that strong piece of evidence, I guess. Maybe we continue now. Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? And there was his dead body. I was in shock. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Andrew was a very calculating person. Despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. Can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be. Somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime. That's technically a contradiction, because the tomato juice was different, right? But this is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in its chest. And the guitar case was like this too. Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? But as I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There are no lip marks left on this wine glass that suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Carita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Miss Andrews, convinced that as you said you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. So there was no struggle. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? Mess of glass shards. It's originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Onto the guitar case. That explains the water on it. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? That means the guitar case wasn't open. I'm sorry, I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. Looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Where it fell onto the guitar case. There's water only on top of the lid. But the guitar case is open in the photo. Oh, Phoenix, that's not important. It was big and heavy. Thought I would try to take this one's pulse, so I set the glass that was weighing down the dresser, and that's when my elbow hit the accidentally hit the vase. I thought she was always in total control of herself. Thought she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in our testimony just now. There is. There is. It's the guitar case, right? This isn't true. Where it fell onto the guitar case. That doesn't make any sense. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. It's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. What's that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. I really love the animations and all these things. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. What's wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. Oh. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Ms. Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. There's no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? Seems there's no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright,
you think we need to hear more details about the case? Yes? Like... Yes? Yes. Tell me about the guitar case. Because maybe something happened with it. Maybe like a really obnoxious fan is doing all this and he just wants the case. Or wants the guitar, sorry. The empty guitar case. Well, I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Yeah, okay. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. And as for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Oh, we'll see about that. Looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. You see any way to change the topic? A convenient excuse for a weak man. The guitar case. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I don't need to read it out again, I'm just gonna press. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over. Well, Miss Andrews. Yes, it was me. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes. Well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Krita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic... It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? A little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trial would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. Sorry. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not gonna get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. Guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. Can't afford to let up on her now. Wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, we had a weapon to hit her with. Is it gonna be a present at the end kind of thing? Sure, weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record waiting to be found. Okay. So I messing in this. Not a big deal that the case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Empty. The juice is still weird. It's still really bizarre to me that she's drinking juice like that. Was her suicide note hidden? So maybe she was thinking he was keeping it in the case. No. I guess not. Whoops, shit, sorry. What? What? There's not really like a contradiction, right? Just that, like, I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. After I knocked the base over. Not a big deal though, the case was empty and all. I mean, you're disturbing a crime scene. That's kind of a big deal, right? Or why I opened the case, even I don't know. Attempted suicide report. Say this was her suicide note hidden thing is the reason why I wanted to grab that, but maybe she opened it to clean it off? Is that why? Like, are we pressing on that like that? There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. What? Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on the... Oh, yeah, fingerprints, right, of course. That was a lucky guess. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. Were you wearing the costume? What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. Well, sure, I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. No, she can't be, because of the wine glass. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Something that would prove I was not wearing it at the time? Yep. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ugh. Oh, her glass has exploded. Jeez. Order! 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 Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. What if it really was empty, though? But the guitar... The bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your assumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it's a bright white guitar? Wait, but that's not right either. What if the killer hid in the guitar case? I mean, it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. Sure, this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you're so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim. Correct? Please, enlighten us as to why this guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Okay. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in this case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing. You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar? So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? The suicide notes? There's water on top of the lid. My guess is on this. And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one? Why, Mr. Wright, why? Well, I just thought it might have been possible. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain is supposed to be? Oh, okay. Can't a foolish fool get some love? Can you prove that the guitar case was not empty at the time of the murder? Maybe there was a costume inside? No, that wouldn't make sense. If there was a spare costume for her to wear out of the room, then there would be her prints on the guitar case, right? Because she'd have to open it in order to do that. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? The article. Water. I don't know, some juice? This weird ass makeup bottle? The knife? I mean, like the spare costume? It doesn't make sense to me still though, because like her prints would have to be on there, right? Unless maybe she broke the vase on purpose to wash away her prints. This is a photograph. Yes, but what's important is what's in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is, inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? No, Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to be doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! Looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murder was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt and Guard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True, that is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this nickel samurai costume doing inside the carcass? It was stolen. It was a spare. I'm going with the spare because he was wearing it because he was asleep. Mr. Engard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 nickel samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was hidden inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought the spare to the ceremony on purpose. What if Han Kurita was like secretly being the nickel samurai in his off time or something like that, and that was the thing he was going to confess to? But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Gemin Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the nickel samurai's spare costume with him? Or maybe he was going to like take over or something, I don't know. What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? You just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the nickel samurai's spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully. The answer was... Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the nickel samurai's spare costume to the hotel was... this one? Like, think about it, right? This dude didn't know about the fact that he's supposed to be confessing something, right? So she was gonna... he was gonna sleep. She was gonna go pretend to be him and say something, maybe. Well, everyone would know, so... what is this? On the night of the murder at the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was gonna hold a special press conference. A press conference? Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. Heard about this as well. For once you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Engard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself. The victim? Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So I dress as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Engard. Yes, I guess this is what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Miss Andrews, I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes. Just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him. That was also me. You! Juan had bet everything on the Gemin Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. It's going to ruin him, huh? Looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. Engard's is, Miss Andrews? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. Bullshit. I see. I bet you that this suicide note was actually maybe a murder? And that's why Adrian maybe killed him? Because he was gonna say that her mentor didn't commit suicide but was actually murdered? Something like that, I don't know. I've been coming out quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. Guard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. Does it count for everything, does it though? Well, I am the logical type. Probably seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. The defense can find no fault with this testimony. I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scales again. Which means I have to put my weight into this and turn logic upside down. How would she have known about the button? Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. Ugh. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. When you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You've already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school. At least, not from what I remember. May I continue now? Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. So what would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event and that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved mountain guard. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes. Because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. Why would you help him do that? But I'm sure Mr. Guard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. So I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony if you please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? She didn't really add it in. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove him right. Has Mr. Engard done something to hurt and betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Carrito with his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Engard, yet you still helped out. The person on trial right now is Mr. Engard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that too was a lie you could cover, so that you could cover Mr. Engard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying, but I can find no flaws. Can't say the same for this. Can't say the same for some people in the courtroom, though. Just glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and knife. Why? You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. During the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. You're talking about this button, correct? That button was found on the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? Well, I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Yeah, but what about the photo, though? Just your outfox again, Mr. Wright. Anyway,
The knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Not you too, Mia. Alright. That button was torn off of Tuan during his fight with Matt. Really? Does he have all his buttons in the picture? I guess it's this giant ass button, right? So. How do you strangle him, though? And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume are matched up, and they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard. Heard that before, too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you're not. Thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here, but where and what? But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. That doesn't match up with the rest of this, like why she would help and like set up, like that doesn't make any sense. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? At the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could disclose things about Mr. Engard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Mr. Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Engard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical flower hour. And please stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounds a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Guess we'll see if I press a little more. Should know this by now, but we need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. So we got stuff about the button being torn off during the fight. She's Matt's manager, so she feels like she had to protect him. During the fight. This was there really a fight though? Like they like didn't go at each other and then like he stabbed him. Someone strangled him first and then stabbed him, right? So like it seems to me that like she got herself ready for some juice or whatever and he was just sitting there while she was pouring herself a glass of juice, and then maybe like when she turned and grabbed the thing to strangle him, she knocked the vase over, and then to make it look like the dude that did it, she stabbed him with the knife. Like when feels like she would have to go back to the room, see him sleeping, and then go back with the knife and stab. Everyone's really focused on the stabbing part. This is the victim's autopsy report. Clearly states that the cause of death is strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stabbed to the victim was done after the victim had already died. What does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume when? That too. After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means it's impossible that those button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body.
Order, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? Memento. That's what serial killers do, so no. Destroy evidence? No, they were making evidence. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Engard. There's no way anyone put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Engard was set up by the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. You actually can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer. The person who planned to frame Mr. Engard is... I mean... I honestly find it hard to think that it actually is her, even though all the evidence points to her, because of this weirdo who kidnapped Maya. Like, didn't he say he was the murderer? I wonder if, like, do you think we're gonna have to, like, get Matt Engard acquitted, and then, like, the next day he's gonna be like, now prove that Adrian Andrews didn't actually do it, or something like that. I choose you, Pikachu. You are Mr. Crutus the killer. What? Order, Mr. Wright. It's a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Yeah, the suicide note. Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. What? How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Engard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room, and the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Engard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. The only person who could have put this button in Mr. Engard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It would have only been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person can believe this Nickel Samurai is Mr. Engard. He'd be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? Better this time. Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. You're absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide for the way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What?
Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Angar's room... Adrian Andrews?
Yes?
Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood?
Alright.
That's it. That's when Franciska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad. A good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. So one thing you haven't done. You haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Well, you finished already. Run out of evidence. What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? Sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You've yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita? I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it'd be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't know what a crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. Oh, in that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? We've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she's the actual murderer has not yet been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. We have to object and say we have some, right? But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that's declare recess. Recess? Request that both the prosecutor and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? I don't have it tomorrow. You don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya. But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you? It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but actually there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. You think? You think, my buddy? Usually when one finds a body, they're shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual? But I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
know what it is about Edward today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? Just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he just fainted or something. So I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. Really? So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I think I need to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. When I found the body. Alright, so let's save and get to pressing. But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and a reason for everything. Wait just a little longer for it to be revealed. And the Wright, please be quiet, listen. Precisely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Ugh. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. So it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Kurita? I understand your frustration not being able to prove your theory, however. Before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. Slumped over? Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Yeah, that's not what he looks like, right? When I saw him sitting, I thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. Hold on. Alright, photo. Oh, I guess he is slumped over. Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe it smashed everything up in anger because we lost the Grand Prix. But nothing was smashed yet, right? Or at least the base wasn't? And I felt tired after his rampage, so I decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. See, so you didn't think he was dead at all? But there's a knife sticking out of him. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour some juice. You thought he fainted? I thought he was asleep at first. But then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. And that's when you went to pour the glass of juice? Yes, he always has a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. I see. After that, what happened next? When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. And how did you come to realize that he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards. I knocked the flower vase over, so that's what happened. Yes. No. This is the absolute end for both sides and Aiden's letting her guard down. Phoenix knows our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Is that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? Okay, I'm gonna contradict on this bit. Like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, at first I was thinking, it's like, oh, because he's, like, maybe he wasn't slumped over, like his head was up. But there's a knife sticking out of him. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? What's the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that he was a dead man. That's, well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer. No. Looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Maddengard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Maddengard's innocence has been clearly demonstrating. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to handle on my verdict for Mr. Maddengard. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you... Witness, don't you understand yet? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Maddengard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? She lost it? I can't speak about it. Too scared. It's Franciska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have any of the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Maddengard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging onto them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get her not guilty. That's my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please. Someone help me. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. You know, stuff. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who the real mastermind is. Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there. Right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I mean, to save Maya, we just want this. To get the truth, which is what we always do, is that, which is get Andrews to testify. So, I feel like we have to do this. We're not a scummy attorney who's gonna get someone who's innocent off. Because if it was really weird clown man or whatever that dude with the weird faces, then we gotta figure this out. Can't bring myself to do it like this, not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. Wright, you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Ungar will get an acquittal, but in his place you will be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. Commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
What a shame. I'd hoped things wouldn't come to this, however. What is it, Mr. Truth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here.
Yeah, that's
the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I'll now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world.
Please stop. I beg you. If people find out, I'll...
If you're gonna say you would choose death, that is no concern to me. Edgeworth is ice cold. However, before you die, I'll pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me.
I'll talk. Please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honestly. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. That's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai's costume. What was the inconvenience? Not the body with the knife, but why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person, a certain cowardly man. But what? What do you mean by all this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer's Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Carrillo, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with the murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt and Guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How's that possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. That second one's probably the thing we have to get in on, but we told from the state the room was in, there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you do not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is a part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so then anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up. I went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because he was going to expose Matt's weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should force some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. Thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. Slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. Gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. And then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspicious. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Engard's Hakama. Yes, that's what I planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? Just when I had finished returning Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. I want to know more about that. An inconvenience? There's a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. Howard had been caught and made it into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. Also put it into Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, right? Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He's going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is the secret? That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the nickel samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. So I did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Engard's room and planted the button? To Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into the bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word. What does this all mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal. It's Matt Engard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Franciska, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. If I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can certain she is not the real killer. Yeah, but all the evidence to the point of Matt being the killer is not like anything anymore. Your Honor, the defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it's not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. Cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. We didn't establish the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Now what? Today's trial. It's over. I win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Dorth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. Remember just now, I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. Ooh. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? Suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. to know if this card had any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. It's a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness that card. Give it to me. Hurry. Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you've stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... Oh, can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? Never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it and what does it mean? I don't know, it's a seashell. Whew. I think I'm gonna have to probably stop here for the day. What's... Oh, okay. So it's a bit of a cliffhanger, but I think we had to stop here for the day. There's got to be more, like, investigation or whatever. Like, maybe we'll get contacted by the killer again, like all that stuff. But for now, I gotta stop. We've been going for 3 hours. It's late. I'm tired. And Pearl is crying. So we'll start on poor Pearl's crying next time. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for today's stream. Tomorrow, I don't know what we'll do. It's our first week of there not being any Ring Fit at all. Like, on purpose, not just because I had other things to do. We'll see. We'll see what I have for you tomorrow. So, bye for now, and have a good rest of your day, rest of your night, whatever time it is, wherever you are, and I'll see you later. Isu.